and you're on the lifeboat. I'm not sure how this is going to work, people. It's a little stormy here in Florida. You can see the ocean behind me is rolling in here kind of thick, which is probably why we called this storms. Actually, there's a whole bunch of storms going on. So, but we'll get to that. I am just, bear with me for one moment. I'm getting this thing set up as close to set up as possible. And I'll be needing a 5x5. I know that it is a little bit stormy because of the sound of the ocean and the wind. We're going to see if this works. It quite simply might not, but we're going to give it a college try. Charlie Mullins gives me a 5x5. Let's see, who do we got? We got DJ Daddy O. We got Chris, Seventh Son, Charlie Mullins. All right, Oculi, good to see you, my brother. And 5x5s all around. Well, it's good to see you people. It really is. This is, I just turned that off after getting there. I'm not the brightest bulb. This is the last day in paradise, so to speak. So today is, I get to do one more live feed from down here in Florida today, and then tomorrow I will be heading back to snowy northern Nevada, where it has been storming there as well. Different kind of storming, obviously, but we've had some people's lives touched by tornadoes. There's been a lot going on all across the country. So we're going to keep all of those people in our thoughts and prayers, but it makes you wonder about, makes you think in terms of other storms, and we get storms in life every day, and the closer we get toward Christmas and New Year's, the more that those storms really seem to weigh upon people. And that's the reality for the entire world, not just people who are, fighting the good fight, people who have struggled with drugs and alcohol. Obviously, for those of us that have, it's a little bit more difficult. That's just the reality. But this is a tough time of year all the way around. It really is. Remember last night we were talking about, Mark, I believe, is the one that said it first, how addicts tend to go to the worst case scenario whenever anything takes place. We very rarely look at something particularly logically. We instantly start hanging crepe. Right? We start impending doom kind of stuff. We always take it to the worst possible case scenario, and it's just kind of, it's one of the things that I think all of us struggle with, consciously or subconsciously. You all know that I take drug-assisted therapy. I am on Suboxone, buprenorphine, and it is probably something that, well, I'm going to be on it for the next 4 or 5 years anyway. And we'll see what happens after that, but I'm definitely going to stay on it for a long enough period of time to really make sure that I get my my brain sort of refocused. Hold on one second. So I'll hit you up after the live feed. Sorry, people. So what happened is, the doctor that I deal with on my for my Suboxone, I had an appointment on the 14th. I'm sorry, I had an appointment on the 12th, the 13th. People, you see what's happening to me already? I can't even think. Tomorrow is the 12th. They had me down for an appointment on the 12th, which didn't make a tremendous amount of sense to me because that's a Sunday. And although very oftentimes I see this doctor via telemedicine, it still didn't make a lot of sense that she was going to want to see me on a Sunday. I reached out and I said something about that, and they said, no, I assure you, the appointment is for the appointment is for whatever day, Sunday. So yesterday, right as I started to do the live feed with you, keeping in mind I'm on a different part of the country now, I get a notice that said, you missed an appointment. And it's one of the automatic things. There's nobody actually sending it. It's just like an autoresponder that said, I missed my appointment yesterday. I immediately started to go into meltdown mode, right? Oh, Lord, I missed the doctor's appointment. Now what's going to happen because I'm at the end of the month and I'm going through all of this and blah, blah, blah. I instantly started talking myself into doom. And I talked to, I got a couple of people that I confide in all the time. We spend a lot of time talking. And I reached out to one of them and said, here's what's going on. And they calmed me down or tried to. So I just reached out to some of the people who I have helped to get into drug-assisted therapy and said, who do you use for your doctor? Because I'm pretty unhappy with the one that I currently have. To make a long story short, people, what ended up happening is I saved about $300 a month by switching my provider. And now I have somebody that probably won't be quite as inept as the doctor that I currently have, or I currently had, who managed to screw up at least 2 or 3 times in terms of appointment. It's you never really know until you sort of hang in there. There's no reason to start panicking and doing it ahead of time. It's one of those things that I think we all do. I'm certainly guilty of it, but it's going to be one of the things that I work on for the New Year's resolution, is not allowing things to get me so far off my game so quickly. Sort of centering myself, doing some deep breathing exercises, and not always chasing something down to the worst possible case scenario every time there's a bump in the road. Now, speaking of bumps in the road, there's some things that have to be discussed. That this is a terrible time of year for this, but it is what it is, and it has to be done. We are a very, very kind group of people. The lifeboat is populated with people that are kind to a fault, right? We talked about this a lot in the last, say, 3 or 4 live feeds, that one of the side effects, or one of the things that we seem to see over and over and over again, is that very oftentimes people that are in recovery and have been through a tough life tend to be kind in a way that other people aren't. Honestly, there's a level of sympathy and a level of empathy when we see people who are struggling, and we see people who are going through the tough times in life. We empathize because we've been there, right? We know what those people are usually going through. And it's painful, right? And because of that, we tend to be very, very kind, and we want to help as much as possible. And that is a good thing. I wouldn't ever want to do anything to dissuade that, right? I want us all to be kind people, and I want us all to be giving and loving. However, it's the holiday season, right? And I don't know if you know this or not, but the holiday season is the number one time of the year for people to get taken advantage of financially. The people that run scams come out of the woodwork, and and I've had this conversation 3 or 4 times, live on live feeds, on videos. I don't ever come on and say, boy, I really want to welcome, so-and-so, and I want to make sure that if there's anything that anyone can do last night, if there's anything that we can do to get these people on their feet, if there's anything we can do to help these people, a GoFundMe page, right? It would be very logical for a channel like the Lifeboat to help people who are hurting. It just makes sense, right? The problem becomes that you got to chase down every one of these people ahead of time to see whether or not the things that they're telling you are legit. How easy would it be for somebody to come on here and say, you know what, my house just burned down. I'm in a terrible place. I just got into a car accident. I don't have a vehicle anymore. I just had this happen. I just had that happen. And this is the kind of a group. These are the kind of people here on the Lifeboat that would rally instantly to that person's aid, which is the right thing to do, yes? Okay. We have to be very careful that we don't get taken advantage of. Do you understand what I'm saying, people? this is becoming an issue on the lifeboat. There are people that there are people on the lifeboat that have received help and aid from other people on the lifeboat. And again, I don't want to dissuade people from being kind. You understand? So here's my advice: research, do a little chasing down before you decide to send somebody money or reach out in that kind of a way. It's really, this is the most difficult thing for a host of a show like this to even talk about. It's awful. It really is. This is a terrible, terrible thing to have to address. However, it has to be addressed. There are people taking advantage of the crew. Bottom line, there are people out there who most assuredly are taking advantage of the crew. I don't want this to happen, people. You understand? So if somebody asks you for assistance, honestly, what you should do is probably do some research before you do it. Thank you, Fiona. I appreciate that. Fiona Crispin says, sorry that you have to do this. I am too. If you don't want to do research and you don't want to chase down the story before you decide to help somebody out, send me an email and say, I'm about to do X, Y, and Z. Because there are individuals who, on multiple occasions, we've actually been through this situation, and people that, if you stick around long enough, you're going to see this a lot. They go to many different channels where they identify kind individuals, and they do what they can to get those individuals to hit GoFundMe pages, to send them money via Western Union or Cash App or any of those things. Before you decide to do that, reach out to the captain. And I'll tell you if it's a situation that we've already researched somebody. I'm never going to sit in front of this camera and say, the name of the person or individuals that I'm talking about are this. I'm not going to do that. But if you're getting ready to send money to somebody and you reach out to me privately, I'll tell you some things that we have found out. And there will be people that we're probably going to be forced to block. And that is the saddest thing in the world, because they very well may need assistance. And we're not trying to turn away people that need assistance. But I'm not going to let the crew get ripped off by somebody that isn't genuine. You understand? When we said that we're trying to create a safe place where people can come and talk and share things and have a place where they can work through their problems, discuss the things that the things that come up in life when you're trying to remain sober. That's the point of this, right? That is what we do here. That being said, that protection needs to get extended in as many directions as possible. So just be wary, especially this time of year, because everybody here comes with stories, and all of them, truthfully, 99.9% of them are complete, genuine stories. But if somebody comes here and starts talking about the things in their life that are tough, and then immediately asks for financial help, be very, very wary. I'm not trying to be a jerk, people. I hate this. I freaking hate this. But it has to be said. So, it's the holiday season. Just be careful. Guard yourself against people that may want to take advantage of your wallet and your kind nature. If you ever have questions, reach out to myself or reach out to Blue, my partner Mark Wages, Blue Kool-Aid. Reach out to either of us, and we will tell you, exactly what shape that takes sometimes. So, as I said, there have been storms all over the United States. Actually, there's been storms all over the world, but there's also been storms of another kind. And there are people that reach out to me to tell me what's going on. As much as I do this in front of the camera, I do a great deal. That one-on-one kind of stuff. It's by design. It's not really how I tried to draw this up, but you end up caring about people on the boat, and some of them need assistance, and it ends up being a one-on-one kind of thing. It's not that I don't love it. It's that when we get to 6,000 people, what do? You pick and choose which people you're going to to work with and which people you're not. That's an awful kind of a lottery system, isn't it? So right now, while I can still work with people, I do. The number of people who reached out to me in the last 4 or 5 days to say that they are absolutely at wit's end. It's really one of those. It's one of those times a year that plagues people, and it's been really sad for the last 7 days or so. How many people have said, "This is it. Today's the day I'm going to go use." And we've had numerous people that literally made a decision ahead of time to go and relapse, not spur of the moment. Here it is. Oh, it's right here, and I'm going to use. I mean, people that said, "That's it." In contact with me, I'm going out today and I'm getting drunk, and it's. As the captain of the boat, right, as the host of this show, it is a painful thing to watch, but it's happening, and it's just the realistic part of what this holiday means to a lot of people. As much as it's joy and it's being merry and all of the things that that the Christmas season should be, for a lot of people, it's also painful memories, and this is why last night when we were talking about. This is why last night when we were talking about laying new foundations and creating new points of contact, the faster you can make that happen, the safer you're going to be, right? You need to reach out to people, and you need to start making new friends with new associations and new places and new hobbies. And the more of those you make, the safer you're going to be at times like this. When the holiday season comes rolling around, you want to make sure that basically you've been doing that kind of work, that you're doing that kind of work all the way up to. This is it's not a sprint, and it's not a marathon, people. It is a journey that you're going to be on for the rest of your life. And I think for a lot of addicts, we kind of neglect our sobriety. We sort of just let it go, just sort of cruising along, and then the holidays come. And it's like we get bombarded with emotions that we can't handle. You need to be building the armor of sobriety. You need to be putting the things into place that are going to keep you sober throughout the year and throughout your life. This is another reason why last night we said, there's no such thing as neutral. If you're not moving forward, you really are moving backward. These cliches are there for a reason, and they're there because they make sense. I mean, truthfully, what you end up with is a situation that, as the storms in life come, and they certainly are going to come during the holidays, as those storms start to come chugging along in life, if you don't have in place all of the tools necessary to get through that, then you're going to wind up in relapse. Not necessarily getting high, but most assuredly sliding backwards. I think it's really important. You know something? Yeah, now there's a couple of comments about people talking about reaching out and helping people. If you just got here, let me say one more time, please. Before you help anybody on the lifeboat that asks for money or asks for anything, either reach out to myself or Mark, or do the research yourself. Do you understand? I'm telling you, people, anytime you get a group of individuals like the crew of the lifeboat in one place, we are a great, big, huge target for people that want to take advantage. And, it's really sad to think that there are, people that prey on the good intentions of people like people that take advantage of situations. If you've got a group of people who are sober, and it really becomes I don't know, it's killing me, people. I swear to God, it's killing me. It's one of the most, since I started this boat, there's been challenges. It's part of being in a YouTube, having a YouTube channel is challenges. It's one after another. You get people that hate you, right? You get death threats. You get all kinds of fun. And I've gotten really good at letting all of that stuff just live somewhere on the internet that I don't pay attention to. This is one of those situations that I can't not pay attention to. There's no way to avoid what's happening. And it's more than one individual, and it's people that show up during live feeds and they make contact with people in the lifeboat, and then they go out of their way to ask for assistance. And let's be honest, who doesn't want to help everybody on the boat? Everybody. But I'm going to tell you a story. About 4 months ago, 3.5